What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Line of the Stars. I'm Jordan, and we're back today with another episode of the DeAgostini Millennium Falcon from Fanhome. Dude, that really is a lot to say, but it's what it is. And today we're going to be working on stages 41 and 44. For the next couple of episodes, I'm going to be... Okay, so before I get too far, over the next couple episodes, I basically need to batch work. A lot of the stages coming up over the next like 10 stages or so are getting ready for paint, getting ready, like finishing up anything that we need for the lower portion of the hull as we march on to the 50% mark. Like once we get to the 50% mark of the ship, we're kind of done with the lower half other than like getting it painted, flipping it over, and then putting things on inside the ship while we are assembling all of the hull frames and all the hull panels for the top. So I imagine that everything does come together really nicely in the end. And I do like at the 50% mark, we're kind of like going from like working on the bottom to like working on the top. So in order to do so, however, there's a lot of like stages where like 41 and for like 41 here, we build the lower gun port and then we build it again in 44. We don't do it in 41 and 42. We do it in 41 and 44. And then 42 has us building one of the other lower maintenance bays on the ship. And it gives me an opportunity to go ahead and bring back the first one that we did and repaint that and redo it because I don't like how I did that. So there's just a lot of like random work. And in order to do it, I've kind of like planned out my next several episodes as we get ready to paint this, because that's going to be a big part of what we're going to be doing. Once we reach the 50% mark, I don't imagine that I'm going to be moving on with stages for a while until we finish our paint job, which could take a couple of episodes. So it's very interesting with this model. The thing that I think I really like about the Falcon is the fact that it is a model, right? Like there's parts on sprues, there's, it's just more like more of a model, which is really, really cool. And the fact that, you can build it stock if you want. Like they painted it, they did an okay job of it. Like it's not the best, but if you just want to build it stock, you can. But if you're a modeler like I am, you can paint it and do your own thing. Like I'm going to be painting over this and then creating that, like the weapons gash in the plating here, right? Like I'll be creating that color and I'm going to do a much better job of what was done here. So it's going to take us several episodes. It's likely going to be, paint, and then weathering and then sealing it up and all of that. And there's going to be individual elements. And I'm really looking forward to that. And I like how this model gives you the option, right? You want to go as far with this as you want, go as far with this as you want. And that's kind of the route that I've taken with this model. I don't want to use a whole lot of mods for this model. I know there's a whole lot of stuff out there. But the only things I'm really going to use is just some extra cargo bay bits, stuff like that. But, not cargo bay, but the crew hold area. I want to try to get some like containers and stuff like that in the corner. But I really don't want to do anything mod-wise to this model outside of painting and maybe changing some LEDs and stuff like that, like things that I know how to do. But with that being said, I need to also build it in ways that make sense. I don't want to just build one gun port and then build something else and then come back and build the other gun port. So we're going to be skipping around some stages and doing some weird things over the next month or two of this build as we finish up the lower section. So let's go ahead and move on to stage 41. And today I want to be using the real color markers from AK. And, we could airbrush, we could do a lot of things, but I really want to see what these markers are capable of doing with the DeAgostini Falcon. So we're going to be featuring these colors today. And let's go ahead and get on to stage 41, which involves us opening up stage 40. We'll be right back. All right, so stage 41 has us reaching into stage 40, which has already been cannibalized for parts once. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of tear that open just a little bit more. I want to try to keep as much of that together. Here is our glazing, all of our windows. I'm going to keep these in the package until absolutely necessary, until absolutely needed. I don't want to get any fingerprints on them. And then all we're going to be doing is grabbing this sprue, putting these back in here, and putting that off to the side. All right. Now, let's actually grab package number 41. And let's get this one open real quick. Whoa. The cap came off inside the holder. Very interesting. This isn't my nice set of knives. This is just kind of my utility one. And, oh boy, that would have been bad. I almost grabbed the blade. All right. So, we have some parts here that we're not going to be using in this section. These are going to be for the next stage. And here are just like random, I think these are magnets here. Yep, there's some rare earth magnets down here. And you see where they go back in behind here. That's obviously just a whole panel that completes one of our stages. But these are, if you're going to be displaying the model in a flying position, which I haven't decided what I'm going to do. These are the panels that fit over the where the landing gear get put in place. So we're going to go ahead and set these stages off to the side, or parts off to the side. And then we have our remaining pieces, which are going to be the inside of our gun ports here, the outer ring, an LED, which isn't too often, we use too often in this model. And then instead of having to paint on like I did on the Perfect Grade Falcon, which I did kind of an okay job, they just give us stickers, which is fantastic. I like it. And I got to be honest, the stickers look really good. They really do. So, yeah. So there's that. And then what we have on the sprue is going to be all of the different little controls and all of that. It's going to be the seat. But there are some molding points. It was more evident on actually, it's not too bad. How bad are these ones? Stickers are going to be there. I might take a file here. It's likely going to make it. I think the stickers fit right over the top. We'll see. I'm going to paint the backs of these a little bit darker of a gray here. We'll get to that here in a second. But I was a little worried about the mold marks. And on the instructions, you can really see the mold marks. But here you don't need to worry about that. Now, what's cool is it here stamped in is it says, let it focus up. You can read it there. It says issue 40 on the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and keep all of the parts together for each one of the stages. So in order to build this, however, I'm not going to be just doing 41 and then 44. We're going to be doing these together. We're going to do them at the exact same time. I want to make sure that we're getting all of our parts accurate and done at, like, once again, I want to repeat the process. I want to go ahead and make sure we do a good job here. So the instructions are going to be the exact same. I'm just going to build them separately. So the instructions for 44 have us doing other things beyond just this. So we're going to go ahead and just pop this open a little bit. Then I'm going to grab all of the things that are going to be needed for this one. So we have... All right, we got all the parts out of the 44 package. Let's go ahead and grab parts out of the 43 package, which is going to be the same sprue as right here. So once again, there's going to be a lot of like opening packages during this time where we're not doing a whole lot with the parts that are there. Go ahead and open this one in a weird spot just so I can grab the sprue. I don't know if I'm going to regret that decision. I might. All right, there we are. Gonna go ahead and set that stage off to the side. All right, so let's go ahead and get our parts into position here. We're going to be assembling both at the same time. So I know that I'm going to need my single-bladed nippers. Get those out. And I know we're going to be using some CA. So I'm going to grab my little application tray here. Grab some of our CA itself. Go into a well we haven't used yet. Fill that all the way up. And then get our glue applicator here, which is just a piece of craft wire at the end of a pin vise. All right. Got that all set up. See a little part here, and I know which bag that one came from. All right. Got that set off to the side. I like how they try to science up Star Wars a little bit here. They try. You read the instructions and you're like, what? Even with Star Trek, you're like, what? All right. So here are our instructions. And basically what we're going to start with is we're going to start by building 2 chairs and then putting them onto the platform and then putting all of the different little pieces on right over here. And it gives us a pretty rudimentary seat and base configuration. Obviously, you don't have to do a whole lot with it, but I am going to sand up the edges. I got to be honest, I really wish that in the description they showed a little bit cleaner of work. If you guys see that, it just kind of looks like ass, if I'm being real. So let's go ahead and start with getting our seats taken care of. So I'm going to go ahead and slide each one of these sections apart just a little bit there. And let's grab our sprues. So this one, what's funny is they both say issue 40, so it doesn't really matter in the end. And we're going to grab the seat cushion and the seat back for each one of them. So it's going to be this piece and this piece. Let's go ahead and grab and use our single-bladed nippers to remove them. What's funny though too is like they look in the description of the parts or in the magazine, these parts look really really rough. I wonder if they were just using like early castings and stuff like that because they look really rough, a lot rougher than what we see here. So I'm not going to judge the instructions too hard, but still, I would have done something about that if I was them. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and grab my eraser and take care of any of our points where we nipped. I try to leave a little bit of the gate behind so you're not leaving any stress points. Obviously, with using a single-bladed nipper, you're not going to worry about that, but still, you want to make sure you're cleaning up your edges. There's that. And leaving a little of that gate so your file has somewhere to work. Some of these are a little rough. I'm going to need to do a little bit of sanding on the edges. Just soften them up a little bit. Do the same thing over here. I have an opportunity to soften up the edges on both sides. By softening up, I'm just running along the sharp edge and just kind of sanding them down a little bit there. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to want to get these painted. So let me grab out my little tool here. And these are painted. Well, I am very glad I checked that. So it is entirely black except for the little silver, the little dot right up here, which is going to be silver. And this isn't a highly, highly detailed set, as there's like some mechanical tubing and stuff like that that kind of goes over the shoulder here on the right side. So let's go ahead and start by getting our flat black. And once again, I'm going to be using the real color markers from AK. Let's go ahead and start. These markers work so well. They dry so fast. The paint is readily available. You don't have to go looking for it. And then once again, a big shout out to Ken's Hobby Bench for very kindly hooking me up with these. I'm just running along the sides here. And then I'm going to leave the bottom because we're going to be connecting that up unpainted. These dry really fast. I'm going to get to the other side real quick. All right, so there they are. I'm going to let them dry for a couple minutes. I'm going to go ahead and grab another pad here. While those dry. And go ahead and get our seat cushions put in place. Sticking them very slightly to the edge of the blue tack here. All right, I'm going to get these painted. All right, so there those are. We're going to go ahead and let those dry real fast. And let's go ahead and take a look at our next parts that we need to assemble while those dry so I can get them painted in advance. So we have what looks like the base of each one. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of paint as I see fit. The instructions are having us do handles first and all of that jazz. So I want to paint this a slightly different color. So let's get these cleaned up. All right, and for this one, let's go ahead and use the Dunkelgrau, which is dark gray. So let's grab another little platform here. And there we are. And let's just go ahead and get these painted up. Yeah, that's much better. Much better color. Wow, these things paint so nice. All right, before I move on to the next one, it may not seem like much, but it made a huge difference in the color of that piece. I really love these markers. Let's go ahead and finish the second one. All right, there are those two pieces painted. Everything's pretty much well dry already. It doesn't take much. I'm going to go ahead and let everything cure for a couple minutes while I go ahead and get the next couple bits painted up. So it looks like they want us to grab the flight controls next. So let's go ahead and grab another little pad. Get this put into place. This one's definitely a smaller one. Let's find those flight controls. There they are. Right there, underneath my finger. Get them very carefully separated off of their sprues. You know, you say you don't want to paint on the sprue, but this may not be a bad time for that. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to paint on the sprue here. And I'm very simply just going to paint, the handles black and everything else silver. So there's the black handles there. The sides, the insides. There we are. Do the same thing over here. All right, there are those handles painted black. Let's go ahead and grab some, let's go some dark aluminum here. By proxy of the fact that it was sitting next to it. Or actually, let's go gunmetal. Yeah, that's what that one is. I haven't used a lot of these colors yet, so I'm super curious to see how they turn out. Oh, I like the way that looks on the tip. Oh, that looks great. Oh, man. That is a fantastic color. Wow. God, these markers are fantastic. I love them. All right. Kind of hard to pick up, but that's how that turned out. My goodness. Look at that, guys. Let me know what you think. Man, definitely let me know what you think. Those are super cool. Ah, very pleased. On the cap even sticks on the back, too. Love it. A lot of markers and pens these days aren't incorporating that feature in them. It's kind of annoying. Like, we're used to putting caps on the back of pens, y'all. This one I did separate off the sprue a little bit, so it's a little bit more challenging to paint. But there's that one. Man, that turned out really good. What else do we have that we need to paint silver while it's on the sprue? What do we got? Let's take a look ahead of the instructions. Rear support. Oh, these go on the back of the chairs, I believe. Yep. So these ones are the little silver tubes. So let's go ahead and paint these ones also gunmetal. And once I get them off the sprue, I'll go ahead and just cover up that spot. Oh, these markers are fantastic. These ones are obviously the more military style colors. There's a bunch of, RAL colors and German colors and what have you. But they're also going to be coming out with a true color set, or just the regular, standard colors, which is going to be super cool. Definitely going to look to pick that up. Because these are a game changer. Like for stuff like this, like you could paint it, but it's going to take a little while for it to dry, And when you're doing a part work, you don't want to be sitting here waiting for parts to dry. Like, so these are perfect for part works. Like the detail, it's got a very fine point. Obviously it's not super perfect, but for fine detail, you can definitely get down into parts. And for stuff like this, like the handles are already dry. Like I can already do things with them. But right now, I'm going to take the old school approach and paint on sprue. Not going to twist off sprue, though, guys. Don't worry. All right. Now, let's see. What else do we have here? So we have the pedals. The pedals I also want to paint, would you believe? Gunmetal. So we're going to go ahead and paint the pedals gunmetal. I'm kind of in love with this color right now. But obviously, want to try to keep all of the similar colors together. Let's make sure we get the sides. Here we are. And then let's grab the pedals there. Not going to paint the bottom because that's where we're going to be gluing. And there they are. Very cool. The control bays. Wondering if we should go control. We're going to paint black. Control base. Let's go ahead and paint. Where does the control base go? How does it fit into place? Oh, I see. So the control base is right here. Let's go ahead and paint that gunmetal as well. Why not? It goes underneath, so it'll be a good contrast for it. If you can't even see it likely, but I'm going to paint it anyway just in case we can. And because I want to. Sucker for a good time. You stay. Around the outside. And say what you will about the paint, the brush is also probably the star of this show. It lays down paint so well. So smooth. And there we are. There we are. Right, pull away from the screen. There we go. Very good. Now, let's see here. The pivot is going to be this little like cone shaped piece right there. So we're going to go ahead and paint that as well. Gunmetal, and I think these are going to be the last pieces that we paint gunmetal. I am going to use a little bit of that gunmetal though here in just a second as the dot in the center of the seat at the top. There we are. Perfect. Now, what is that piece? Targeting computer. What's the targeting computer? Oh, yeah, I guess it would be. So let's do the arm on the targeting computer as gunmetal. I say that, I'm just addicted. Sorry. We're going to do the arm. Is that color? And it lays down enough paint. You really don't need to double coat it. You can if you want, obviously. Maybe for some lighter colors, you may have to. Right. So the arms are taken care of. Now let's go ahead and bring back the seat tops. And I'm going to very carefully get, so there's a dot. Kind of hard to pick up, but there is a dot at the top of each seat there. That needs to be painted silver. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing there. And there you are. Oh, it turned out really good, actually. I was kind of nervous about that one. All right. So let's go ahead and keep our gunmetal off to the side because we're going to need it for touch-up work here. And let's go ahead and bring back our black paint. And what we're going to do is we are going to paint this piece here, which is the control mount. We're going to paint this one black. Once again, I'm painting on the sprue, and I know it's kind of reckless. But these are a bunch of small little parts. And I want to do this quick. So, and I'm going to go through and color correct afterwards. These are likely not going to be seen very much, but I don't want to leave them stock because I want this to look good everywhere. And with most part works, the fact that I will know that it's been done and that I will know that it's there is all that really matters. All right, and looks like the last part that we need to paint black is going to be the ends of each one of the visor mounts. And so for that, we're going to go ahead and get those off of the sprue before we do. So let's go ahead and move on to the assembly, as I believe we are ready to go with most of our parts being painted, with the exception of, what was I thinking? Let's go ahead and grab our Dunkelgrau again. And let's go ahead and just paint the inside of each one of these weapons ports. Just being consistent across the board with the colors. And the stock plastic color is not something that I'm hoping to see when I do look into it. Oh, these cover so well. It's insane. Obviously, there's going to be sticker back behind it, so I'm not too worried about how the overall appearance of the paint on the main part of it looks. But I do want to just get this inside painted. All right, so that's what that looks like. I'm going to go ahead and take care of the other 3 sides, and I will be right back. All right, they're all painted up. Let's go ahead and move on to assembly. All right, so let's go ahead and start with assembling our seat cushions. Everything's all nice and dry. The beauty, one of the many beauties of the real color markers. They dry super fast. And you know, I thought about it, but I'm like, oh, I should weather those seats up. And no, Jordan, you're fine. I've become a modeler, my friends. All right, so let's go ahead and start with getting all of our bases taken care of here. Cover all of our bases, so to say. All right, so I've zoomed in a little bit, and in the process, I've realized that I painted the wrong side of this, and uh, the base is a little janky. You can see some of the mold points, but it's fine. Really, once again, like this is not going to be a very highly seen part, but regardless, I did paint this and let it dry. So let's go ahead and get started with getting our part assembled. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of CA. And what we're going to do is we're going to set it on this this raised part of the platforms here. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of the CA. Get along there. I did not paint right there. And we're just going to set that down right on top. Going to do the same thing over here. And then we will set our seat place. Oh, just like that. Very cool. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab our seat backs, and then they are going to slot into place just like this and sit at a bit of an angle. Okay, so just like that. What we're going to do, get a little bit of our CA, get it down into this groove right here that I did not paint. And you get that held into place for just a moment. I'll hold that and be right back. And there that is. And once again, we got the little silver dot painted on the top up there. Very cool. Let's go ahead and do the same thing to the other side. All right, so there that one is. There we are. Very cool. So now we're going to go ahead and remove the control stick. We're going to have to paint the sides of each one of these real fast. That one's off. And that one's off. Let me go ahead and grab my flat black. Catch the side where we just separated it. And we just need to take a little our single blade and just pull that off a little bit. There we are. Perfect. Set that down real quick. Do the same thing right here. All right. Those are taken care of. Now, I'm going to grab some tweezers. I'm going to dip the end into my CA just a little bit. And then as you see there at the front of the seat, there's a bit of a dot. We are going to go ahead and put that into place. All right. There we are. Very cool. Do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to try using my hands for this one. I did get that a little bit everywhere. There we go. There we are. There we go. Very cool. All right, now we're going to grab the control mount, which is going to be this piece right here. And once again, we're just going to need to touch up this piece a little bit. And finish painting this one. My God. Wow. No, flat black. Is this the knuckle grow? Yeah, this is the knuckle grow. Oops. So by finished painting, I didn't paint the inside here. There we are. There we go. This one just needs a little bit of a touch up. There we are. Let those dry for just a second. Oh no, I didn't get the inside here. Wow. There we are. Let those dry for just a second. And while that happens, let's go ahead and remove our targeting computer from each side and let those get those painted up on the ends. We still need to paint the black on the end. Yeah, that one. And that one. I'm going to go ahead and use my little handle for this one. Stick it into the blue tack at the end. We need to clean up this end as well. Put away my eraser, and I shouldn't have because I knew we were still going to be separating some pieces. Clean up that end. There we go. That all nice and sanded up. And my single blade took care of that one real nice. Okay. So now, let's go ahead and get those back into my handle. And then we're going to paint the end of each one of these black. It's interesting is like building this part on the perfect grade had both more and less detail. If that makes any sense. Like it didn't have the targeting computer, but the seat looked better. The walls look better. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Once again, Bandai does a different job. This was done by a designer. All right. So while we let those dry, let's go ahead and move back to our little piece here. Our control arm, I believe is what they're calling it. Yep. So that one's going to fit into that first, or the larger, move your tweezers, Jordan. Going to fit into that slot right here. So in order to do that, I'm just going to very simply take it, dip it into our CA, just at the very end. God. And if you've done that right, it looks like the control arm is actually connected to the handles there, which is really cool. Let's go and do the same thing for the other side. And the tweezers are apparently I'm a little jittery in the morning. It's probably the coffee. I'm from I live in Seattle, and would you believe I drink a lot of coffee? All right. Yep, and that one right over the top. And that one's beautiful. Look at that. Turned out great. All right. Now the control arms are taken care of, or excuse me, now the targeting computers are all dry. So those ones are going to sit in the slot directly in front of the control arm. So go and dip that into our CA. Get into its slot. Make sure it's facing the seat. And there we are. That looks good, guys. Nice. Okay. Do the same thing for the other side. Make sure it's facing the seat properly. There we are. Very cool. Now we're going to grab little silver support pieces on the back here. Get them off the sprue. All right. How do they fit into place? So they're going to go up on the seat just like this. And there's a little mounting spot just like that. It's going to look like that. Very cool. So I'm going to grab my pin vise, get into our CA, and just touch some down here at the bottom. And my tweezers. Get that settled into place. Take care of the other side, and I'll be right back. All right, there we are. I gotta say, I was kind of saying, the detail's not that great, but you know what? For something we're not going to see a whole lot of, this does look really, really good. I gotta say. All right, so next up, I believe we're going to put the pedals on. Oh, no, we got the little pivot point. So that's going to be another one of our little gunmetal pieces that we put on. So that's going to be this right here. And this very carefully, we need to make sure there's a lug at the bottom. So there's a long piece at the bottom before we get to the gate. You want to leave that long piece on there, because that is where you're going to connect it into the floor. I'm going to do this one at a time. Clean up my end here. There we are. And then rub this little pin piece against the end of my connection point. Or not my connection point, but the end of my pin vise. There we go. All right, so that is what that looks like. Oh, very cool. All right, I'm going to take care of the other side, and I'll be right back. All right, so this one was a little bit tough to get in, but it got in there real nice. So there we go. Let's go ahead and move on to getting our pedals put in. We're going to go ahead and separate each one of these off. There's a mounting lug on the back. We're going to do these one at a time. And by one at a time, I mean one side at a time. Then for this, I'm going to go ahead and get some CA at the end of my pin vise. What we're going to do is, you can see the end there's a little foot and then a pin. The foot is going to go towards the bottom down here, and then the pin is what we're going to glue. And how we're going to put that into place. Just like that. All right, there we go. This was actually kind of a pain in the butt to get done. I got to be honest. These pieces are very difficult to get put into place properly. All right, there we are. I'm going to go take care of the other side, and I'll be right back. All right, there we are. And you can hear from the frustration in my voice, these were a bit of a pain in the ass. I just got to say. So there they are. Last bit we got to do is take the last piece off the sprue, which is going to be the base. And that's this little piece here. There we are. And let's grab the other one. There we are. And let's take a look at our sprues. That is everything. It is always nice when you get to throw away some sprues. All right. Then, what we're going to do is glue the rotating base just like this. This tab is going to go into that slot right there. So I'm going to grab my CA. I go into that slot right there. Get this put into place. All right. Oh, it's keyed. Got it. Just like that. I'll grab a little more CA. Just like that. Get that slotted into place. And there we go. All right. So there are our seats taken care of. Let's go ahead and move on to something maybe a little less complicated. What do you think? Let's move on to the next part of the let's move on to assembling the turret wall. All right, so while everything sets up there and cures, let's go ahead and grab our, let's position them exactly how they have them. So they have them like this because it's going to mate up like that. Okay, so we're going to position it like this. And then we're going to grab the stickers. I'm going to go like that, that, and like that. Okay, I see. So this sticker is going to go up into this well up here. Let's go ahead and get the backing off. I'm always terrible getting the backs off, so I'm a little worried about this. But the backing is nice and easy to get off. Let's go ahead and get that sticker put into place. And how does that fit in? I see. So you want this all the way up against the edge. Oh, God. These are super sticky on the back, by the way, you guys. So they want them to be all the way up against the edge right here, which makes sense. And there's that. Very cool. Let's grab our other sticker. Now that we know that, let's set it in. Just like so. Do the same thing on the other side. And just like that, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side, and I'll be right back. All right, so there's the other side taken care of. Very cool. Now, what we need to do is grab our LEDs. And the shorter one is going to be for, well, it doesn't really matter because they're both the same. I was like, I need to keep them separate from each other. No, Jordan, you don't. And it looks like I need to grab some screws. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our LED and we're going to put it in just like this. And what I'm going to do to hold it in place, it says use a little bit of putty, and I'm actually going to use a little bit of CA. Just along here along the inside of one side. Get it put in there. I'm going to hold that there for just a moment, and I'll be right back. All right, both of our LEDs are put into place. Now, let's get towards the end of this. And what we're going to do is grab the side that we did not put. There we go. Yeah, there we go. The side where we did not put the glue, we are going to, or excuse me, the LED. We're going to go ahead and get onto the tabs here. Get each one of these tabs. And there's a lug at the top of that one there. And what we're going to do is we are going to close up these two pieces. I'm going to hold that in place for just a moment, and we'll be right back. All right, there we are. Let's go ahead and do the same thing to the other side. On the side where we did not put... Weird. So the other side had the mounting lugs out. This side has the mounting lugs in. Oh, God. All right. But no worries. Doesn't matter. Go ahead and get our pieces. Slot them together. Get them mounted up. Held into place for just a moment, and we'll be right back. All right, there we are. So now what we're going to do is we're going to identify. So on each side of one of these, there's going to be a mounting point or a keyed point, and it's going to match up with this piece right here. What we're going to do is we're going to basically just take that So we're going to take it like that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of glue along the flange around here, and we are going to go ahead and mate it up with this piece right there. Let's grab our CA. Probably a little bit too much CA there on the big old bead of it there. I'm not going to use a whole lot. I'm just going to do a little point on each one of these. A little bit on that mounting lug there. Make sure everything's all lined up properly. Make sure we got glue in all of our points. And then I'm going to mate that up there. I'm going to hold this together for just a moment, and we'll be right back. All right, there it is. I got to say, that does look pretty cool, man. It really does. Not as insanely detailed as you would want, but you know what? Once again, what are you wanting for? That's not bad. All right, let's go ahead and take care of the same thing on the other side, and I will be right back. All right, there's that one taken care of, and once again, looks pretty awesome. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to very carefully take this, and you see this little mounting point. We're going to be putting it inside so it fits through right here. I'm going to very carefully do so. And then once I get it put into place, I'm going to secure it with a self-tapping flange screw here. I only need 2 of them. PH0. That's the one. That's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Got my screwdriver ready. I'm going to use a pair of tweezers to kind of guide this in place. Then, this is going to be difficult. So we'll simultaneously, I'm seeing a mistake real quick on the front of this. And this is visible, so I need to finish painting that up real quick. Let's grab our gunmetal, which I'm super happy about. There we go. So while that dries, I'm going to grab the other one. And this is a bit of a pain in the butt. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get it put into place, and without trying to break anything, I'm going to hold it so you get that little point there, and then so you can get your flange screw put into place. All right, so I had to re-glue the top there, and my sunlight is starting to murder me here. So there is that. Let's get this quickly, the other side quickly put into place. I'm going to try to show you a little bit better of a technique of doing so. So the flange screw doesn't quite want to fit on the bottom, and so when I set this in here, I'm going to set it in its mounting point, just like so. I'm going to go ahead and grab my flange screw. You got to be careful here because you can really got to be careful as I slant the piece down. You can do some damage to the model and pull some parts apart if you're not being careful. So I want to get that flange set up against one of the edges there so it actually does its job. And then we're held into place. So there we are. This took me an hour and a half to record, and I gotta say I'm a little surprised by that. I wasn't expecting that amount of time, but there they are. There are both of our weapons ports taken care of. That is stages 41 and 44 taken care of. And there's a little bit of test fitting that we can do, but I believe it's going to be stage 45 that we go ahead and get these started to assemble. So that's what I got for you guys today. Next episode, we're going to be working on our maintenance base and getting the first one that we did color corrected and getting some of the things taken care of that I didn't quite take care of properly last time. So that's what I got for you today, and I just want to say thank you. I know that there was a million things y'all could have done today. Instead, you spent a couple minutes with me watching me build a model, which I think is pretty damn cool. If you guys have any questions or comments, tips, tricks, please leave them down below. Like to support the channel, please like and subscribe. And my friends, until we see each other again, I hope you all have a wonderful day in this beautiful world wherever you happen to be. And just remember, my friends, that this is the way.